Hey everybody, and welcome to Let's Play Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time. Last time, we finally got the Ocarina of Time, learned the Song of Time, and then did a whole bunch of side quests. And then I recorded this episode. But because, for some reason, it didn't record the audio, it only recorded the gameplay, I am now doing post-commentary. A little bit of a pain. I want to go and show off, some of the golden skutellas, how I want to check on all the different items I had. Right now, I'm getting the different items. Sadly, this means my reactions won't be quite as genuine as they were last time, but that's okay. That is okay. So, as you can see, we just got the Stone of Agony, and now we're going to get the Giant's Wallet, which means we're going to have 500 rupees. Isn't that great? Because we're going to need that money later on. Trust me. Trust me. It's not as bad as Wind Waker. In Wind Waker, at least in the original version, not the HD remake, you needed thousands and thousands of rupees to pay for that whole Triforce Shards quest with Tingle. Pain in the butt. But, now that we finally have all those items, I believe now I am actually going to the Temple of Time to get the Master Sword, which is great. So now I get to run there and be all woo. Sadly, I don't actually remember what I was talking about when I originally recorded, which was like 20 minutes ago. So I have a really bad memory. But that's okay, because I have other things to talk about. For one, E3. This week was E3. Nintendo, I think Nintendo won E3. If it was a competition, at least I think Nintendo won. Because, wow. They showed so many great things. And since this is Zelda, I'm going to talk about Zelda mostly, but Hyrule Warriors and Zelda Wii U. Personally, I think the Hyrule Warriors game looks phenomenal. It's obviously very different than, the traditional Zelda game. It's obviously an action-oriented Dynasty Warriors themed game. It's Dynasty Warriors with the Zelda theme. And it looks good. Honestly, I am excited to play that game. I don't expect it to be as good as, mainstream Zelda games. And, I have seen some complaints that some people have regarding some of the character designs. Some people apparently don't like that the main villain has this overly sexual design. But personally, looking at the great fairies of this game and some of the other character designs in other Zelda games, I don't think that Zelda is people have this thing with Nintendo games where their characters aren't allowed to be sexualized. People didn't like when Samus was sexualized in Metroid Other M, and Metroid Other M was a bad Metroid game in my opinion. But the sexualization wasn't the thing I hated about it the most. Because if you look back at Metroid and Zelda and a lot of Mario games, there is actually a lot of sexualization in them. In the first game of Metroid, when you win, you get to see Samus take her clothes off. That's your reward, getting to see her take her clothes off. So, I've never seen a problem with Nintendo characters being sexualized, as long as it's not their only feature. As long the characters can be sexual, just have something else to them. So as long as this villain isn't vapidly only sexual, that's all they ever do, then I shouldn't find too much of a problem with it. But I could sort of go both ways on that issue, I think. And right now I'm just talking. I want to use the Mask of Truth and look at the statue. Since I had the Mask of Truth, I got the Mask of Truth last episode. That was great. And you learn a lot of interesting things. Malon, get a lot of stuff on Malon here. Malon wants a Link in Shining Armor. I wonder who that could be, huh? Link, huh? All the Link Zelda shippers right now are furious. Don't worry. I like Link and Zelda too. I like Link and anyone. Because Link can pretty much be with anyone. Because, Link's never actually officially with anyone, so why not? I'm not much for shipping, honestly. Never have been with really any fandom. I think whatever is canon is fine enough. Unless, of course, it's an unhealthy relationship, in which case I'd probably say, come on, get that. If it's good for the narrative, whatever, but it tells a story. Yeah, we're finally here in the Temple of Frickin' Time. And I gotta say, I love the Temple of Time. It is one of my all-time favorite parts of The Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time. It has such a nice feel to it. The background, the choral version of the Song of Time in the background, the light coming in from the windows, the light that comes just from its design, from the door, and the Triforce. It's a couple seconds, it's gonna start glowing. You'll see. The whole temple is just magnificently designed. It's simplistic, but it's still really nice. It sort of has almost that white space, that white space design where you have a lot of white area, so there's not a whole lot going on in it. It's simplistic, but it's good, which I like about it. And since I'm not talking about the Temple of Time, I'm going to talk more about E3. The Zelda Wii U trailer. Well, not a trailer, it was more like a teaser. But I've been reading a lot of different articles on it. And from what I understand, that was Link. I want to point that out. Some people were wondering whether or not it was Link or not. The director of Zelda, Eiji Aonuma, I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing his name right, he did say that it was Link in a later interview. He was joking when he said that they didn't explicitly say it was Link. It was a joke. He was messing with us, everybody. And, oh, hey, look, we got the Master Sword, even though it was never really mentioned at all in the game up until this point. But somehow it's legendary. I think they really could have foreshadowed the sword a little bit more, honestly. This game is great, but there are going to be things I could point out that I think could have, probably been done better. Don't kill me, please. But I saw that Wii U trailer for Zelda. It actually looked phenomenal, and apparently that was done in-engine, and that was actual gameplay. Now, I'm wondering if that was actual gameplay, they must have been using some sort of developer's kit to sort of get those cinematic angles, because there's no way you could play a game that looks that cinematic. It wouldn't play very well. So obviously, if that was actual gameplay, which even if it was actual gameplay, that was amazing because of how Link jumps off the horse and how the arrow shoots at that giant metallic monster and everything. And I was actually originally going to say Ganon's lines here and then edit them. But since I'm doing post-commentary and I forgot to stop talking before Ganon showed up, I guess I'm not going to. Screw it. I'm having more fun talking about E3 than I would talking Ganon's lines. So, this is like an E3 special. That's what we'll call this episode. E3 special! Yeah. But it does look phenomenal, and I really do hope that the new Zelda game is really open world, because that's what I feel Zelda was always meant to be. It wasn't meant to be as linear as Skyward Sword or Twilight Princess or some of the other games have been, and it has gotten progressively more linear every game, and there's been a lot more hand-holding. And then Link Between Worlds comes out, and that game, as open world as it could possibly get. I really do like A Link Between Worlds. It's the best handheld in my opinion. Not the best. I still like most of the console games more than it, but as far as handhelds go, it's probably my favorite so far. Admittedly, not my favorite story. That might be Minish Cap, but as far as overall presentation, it's amazing. And here we meet Rauru, the human version of Kaepora Gaebora. It's generally hinted with the Mask of Truth from some of the Sheikah stones that Kaepora Gaebora is actually the Sage of Light. And and then Rauru, in Skyward Sword, he comes back as Zelda's father. That kind of always made me wonder, like, what is his is Rauru? How is he related to the guy from Skyloft that he looks like? Is it just a design? Like was it just a cameo? Was it like a little in-joke? Or is there something in the Zelda universe that could have a connection? And that's something I think would be really interesting. Is that if there was a connection? Don't be alarmed. Look at yourself. Why? What? Give me a mirror. What is it? What is it? Tell me. Oh, oh, my voice is deeper. When did this happen? I got hair. Wait a second. How did I get in these clothes? And Rauru just looks at you like, nothing. Yeah, those clothes just grew on you. I wasn't wearing pants as a child. Yeah, things were starting to hang out. I didn't like that. Oh. Okay. Yeah, Link just skipped over puberty. He's probably messed up in the head right now. Oh, man. And other E3 things. I was a little disappointed. We still haven't heard anything about a possible Majora's Mask remake, because, I care more about new Zeldas and remakes, personally, but I still would be excited for a Majora's Mask remake, because I love Majora's Mask. 3DS would make more sense because of how Ocarina of Time came out, but I'd be cool with a Wii U remake as well. I would love to see them utilize the gamepad for it somehow. Maybe that's where they would put the clock if they did a remake. They'd have it there. Super Smash Bros. Oh my god. I watched the tournament, and Zelda Williams came out. I was rooting for her, but she didn't win. That was sad. Just because her name is Zelda, Just because her name's Zelda. I was actually hoping she would play Zelda, but I think she played Link. Pretty sure she played Link. Ganondorf has gotten into the Sacred Realm. We cannot... This is bad, and it's kind of Zelda's fault for having you get the spiritual stones that Ganon wasn't able to get himself. Yeah, when you think about it, Zelda's plan was kind of bad. Like, Ganon wasn't able to get the stones by himself. You had to get the stones. Only after you got the stones and opened the door of time was Ganondorf ever made powerful enough to take over Hyrule. Otherwise, he could barely take over the kingdom, probably. And he would have had resistance. But with the Triforce, he doesn't have resistance because he's way more powerful. Yeah, that was... I mean, Zelda's a kid, can't really blame her. But at the same time, they're kids and they still kind of messed up the entire kingdom. You know, that's bad. I saw a lot of new gameplay for Super Smash Bros. And it looks really fun. Greninja looks pretty cool. Greninja kind of looks... For me, Greninja's playstyle will probably be somewhat similar to Sheik's because they're both sort of ninja-like characters. Different abilities, obviously, but I'm very excited for that just because I like Greninja. Greninja is my favorite of the 3 Pokemon starters from the new Pokemon games. And admittedly, as far as the new Pokemon games go, X and Y, I was kind of didn't care for the story. I thought that kind of fell flat, but the Pokemon designs were much better than Black and White's. The Black and White had boring designs in my opinion, but a good story. And in this game, they have a bad story, a flashy Pokemon, and you fight a Pokemon team called Team Flare. It's almost like it's an in-joke. I swear, we're gonna make this game flashy, and then we're gonna rub it in your face that we don't have to be boring, but we want to focus on a good story. So, or something. I don't know. That's sometimes what I think. Find the other sages and save Hyrule. Yeah, Link. Save Hyrule, man. God, I don't even feel... This doesn't feel like a Let's Play episode to me. This just feels like me doing a podcast or something because I'm not actually playing the game. I'm watching me having played it earlier, and it doesn't feel right to me. But I at the same time, I feel like because I don't have to focus on playing, I can actually focus on what I'm saying. So what I say is better. But, yeah. 10, we're back in the Temple of Time. But if 7 years really passed, I mean, maybe you just had a growth spurt in one night. You know, whatever, that happens. Sometimes you just wake up one morning and you're like twice as tall, you know? It's normal. And of course, you can't use certain weapons now that you're an adult, even though that doesn't make any sense. It doesn't... Why can't an adult use a slingshot? Because his hand is too big for the slingshot? Like, you could just use, what... You could probably, have a couple of fingers on it instead of just your whole hand on the slingshot, you know? And the sticks. Come on, they're sticks. You can't use a stick as an adult. Or can you use sticks as an adult? I actually didn't check. I don't think so. That makes me wondering. Gotta love. The first person you see, Link, as when you come back, and you pull your sword out on them, and they're a good guy. Really? Really, Link? Man. Also, take a moment to listen to this song. It's playing in the background. I can't hear it right now because I can't hear the game audio, but I know it's there. Listen. I love Sheik's theme. It is one of the best songs in this game. I probably say that for so many songs in so many games all the time because I love music in video games. I love video game music. This is one of the best songs. It's played with a harp, which is, the kind of thing Sheik plays. And I actually have to wonder if the harp, well, it's a lyre, not a harp, but the lyre that Sheik plays, is it the same lyre that's in Skyward Sword? The designs look similar enough to me. It kind of always made me wonder. And honestly, you see the flutes in other Link to the Past, and it looks like the Ocarina of Time. Sometimes I wonder if they're supposed to be connected, or if it's just just happens like that. Is it coincidence or not? And man, so much happened at E3, man. And they introduced a lot of new games too. I didn't look too much at the new games. I don't know. There's one called Splatoon. I didn't see much about that. There seems to be sort of a throwing paint at each other or something like that. Something with splattering each other. I don't know. It looked like an interesting enough game, but I wasn't that interested in it. I admit. There's apparently a new Star Fox game. Star Fox U is coming out. That's apparently a thing. I've never actually played Star Fox games, so that's pretty interesting to me. And she's right now. Sheik's telling us that we have to go to the Forest Temple, and we all know. I mean, I never knew anyone from the forest that was a girl when I was a kid. I mean, come on. What was that girl's name? The blonde, Fado? That must be who it is. She must be the sage. No, we all know who it is. We know it's Soraya. All the sages are people we met as a kid. Although we didn't meet one of the sages yet. We don't meet her until we go back later. There's some other new games. Project Steam was a new one. I heard some people... I know that a lot of people had been theorizing that there would be a new console revealed, which would have made no sense because the Wii U is, only out for not even 2 years yet. People are wondering, like, oh, is Nintendo going to abandon the Wii U because the Wii U hasn't been doing well? Well, no, I think they're going to try and make the Wii U do better. And honestly, with these new games coming out, I honestly think they really are. I mean, Super Smash Bros. Is an obvious seller. It's going to sell tons of games. People love Smash Bros. Zelda, obvious seller. You have a Zelda game coming out this year and a Zelda game coming out next year. And if anything, I actually think Hyrule Warriors is it's actually good to have a game like Hyrule Warriors come out before the main Zelda game. Because I think it's sort of like it readies us. It's sort of like an ease into it, you know. You know, we're getting a Zelda game this year, but it's not a full Zelda game. So we get it. So it's almost getting a taste of Zelda, you know, in a sense. Plus, you get to play as Midna in Hyrule Warriors, so that's awesome. And apparently, it takes place in a parallel universe. It's not in the timeline because it is, you know, non-canon. So it's not canon, technically. Not canon in the sense that it's not in the timeline. It's canon in the sense that it's in a parallel universe. So it kind of exists, but it doesn't really exist. So it's, yeah, basically not canon. And yeah, here's the Poe guy. This guy's creepy, okay? We're in a different kind of business. Yeah, I know what kind of business you want to run, you little perv. Yeah, I'm keeping my eyes on you. You and Rauru. Also, how can... He says again, because of Ganondorf's reign, that there's like it's a good business model right now. Like right now, he says it's a fine time for a business like this. But how? Who is buying and selling ghosts to you? Ganon's men? You don't really ever see any actual like living people that work with Ganon. You see monsters, and I don't think monsters understand commodities and currency. So this is kind of pointless to me. But anyway, I'm probably later on going to be getting all the Poes. I don't really know when. I'm pretty sure you get a bottle from doing this. I'm not sure. I might actually one day try to do the bottle trick in this game. I might not do it during this run through, but if I ever decide that I have an item that's kind of useless, I might do it. Because there's a trick, a glitch you can use in Zelda games to in this Zelda game, where you can basically turn any one of your items into a bottle. Now, if there's like a fairy, you can't put fairies in it. Well, you can put fairies in it, but you'll have to use it. If you die and a fairy's in that bottle, they won't come back automatically because they're not actually in a bottle. It's a glitch, you know. So, and right now I'm going over to the graveyard. I'm going to get the hook shot in the graveyard. Has to do Kakariko now that it has all the Hyrule Market Town people in it. One of the things I was gonna say something. I forgot what it was. Oh man, that happens so much to me. I have so many different things I want to talk about. I actually just read an article not that long ago about what they want to do with Metroid, and they are actually hinting at whether or not they want to do a Metroid Prime style game that was a first-person shooter or like 2D, but they didn't really mention any sort of Metroid Other M style game. I think Nintendo kind of realized with how poorly received the game was that it's not what we can go ahead with. Even if I believe Sakamoto, the director for Metroid, he liked what he did with Metroid Other M, but I think the other higher ups with Nintendo, they kind of realized it didn't work out. The gameplay was fine enough, kind of button mashy, but it was fine. But the story alienated too many Zelda fans, or not Zelda fans, Metroid fans. I mean, I'm sure there's Zelda fans out there that got alienated by Metroid Other M too, because they can be Metroid fans too, but you know. And I just read an old dead man's diary. I'm such a jerk. And hey, look, you know the seeds. They planted, they sprouted, and 7 years later they're floating plants. Don't understand how that works, but heart piece, full another container. How many hearts do I have now? I got quite a few, like 8, 9. I don't feel like counting them. I'd feel like focusing on what I'm saying, so that there's good audio in this episode. And you can always tell what graves you can go into by the flowers in front of them. At least I'm pretty sure that's how you tell. And as always, I have trouble falling in holes. I don't know why. I have trouble falling in holes. Holes are my enemy. I hate holes. That sounds wrong. And here's Dampé. He wants to race you. You cannot beat Dampé, but you have to keep up with him. And also, he's a cheater, as you can tell. He throws fireballs at you. Why do you throw fire at me? You little jerk face. At least I dodged all your stupid fire. Oh, spoiled my own race. Yeah, but yeah, if you don't follow him correctly, you'll either reach dead ends, which have monsters and sometimes money in them, and if you're not quick enough, there are certain doors that will close and then send you back to the beginning, trapping you forever within this underground tomb. It's actually a pretty easy race, I think. It's not that difficult. Even when I was actually doing this live and I was recording this, I didn't talk very much over it. So this actually is probably the best part to have post commentary because I was focusing so much on the race I could barely say anything. Unless you don't want me to say anything. Maybe I should shut up. I should stop trying to make jokes. Nobody wants to hear them. Sad face. But so much to talk about, I can't help it. Yep, and here we are, we're getting the hook shot. The time of this race was 1 minute 4 seconds, which is not bad for my first time in like years. What are some other good Nintendo E3 highlights? Oh, the Robot Chicken parodies. They did animation styles very similar to Robot Chicken. I don't know if they worked together with the people from Robot Chicken, but they looked just like Robot Chicken. It was it was rated it was rated like it wasn't like any of the sex, violent, drug kind of skits that you see in Robot Chicken, but it was still pretty funny. I was actually really hyped when that was how they opened up their E3. I thought that was amazing. That's one of the reasons I really think they stole the show, because they tried something that was different and it worked. Because Nintendo, they tend to try something that's different, and sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't, and this is one of the things that worked. In fact, the whole Nintendo Treehouse thing, the tournament, they did so many things to actually get fans involved that I really liked, and I didn't see as much from that really with Sony and Microsoft. They did show off a lot of games, and there were some really good looking games I saw from all three of them. There's a few that are kind of like, eh. But I think I was really most excited for Nintendo. Probably because I have a Wii U. I don't have an Xbox One or a PS4, and I don't know if or when or if I'll get it either of those. I'm really not sure. It depends on what kind of exclusives they get. I don't want to get both because that's just a lot of money to spend. It really is, and I don't have that kind of money. So I have to choose between one. And eventually, I know my brother's probably going to get an Xbox One because he's probably mostly going to get it for Halo. He's not huge on the different games, but he likes Halo, so he might get that. So I might get a PS4 maybe. And I've never had a PlayStation console before, like ever. And here I am failing at the hookshot. So if I do get a PS4, that would at least be sort of interesting. And yeah, that area, that with the harpies, that you can hookshot. I knew you could hookshot somewhere. But yeah, I really did feel like Nintendo kind of did the best at E3 here. And I'm, for the end here, woo, getting me the Song of Storms. Probably one of, out of all the songs that you get in this game, it's one of my favorite, probably. Definitely not my favorite overall. My favorite overall is from Majora's Mask. It's gotta be the Song of Healing. Love that song. It's just, that song's serene and calming and just, it does feel like a song of healing. It really does to me. Where this song doesn't really have a feeling of a storm, but it has an sort of yeah. I'm just talking random like gibberish at this point. Oh, gabagabu, gabigabagu, gabigabagabigaboo. Just gibberish. And I fail on this little merry-go-round. I completely fail here. I'm just like, let me off, please. Going round and round. Oh man. But this is pretty much the end of the episode right now. This is just me wrapping it up. So, I'll be making the new episode hopefully sometime soon, and you'll be seeing this episode now, whenever you're watching it. So I will see you guys next time on Let's Play Ocarina of Time. Hopefully not post-commentary, unless you guys like it or something. Who knows? I don't know. Maybe I'll make it a thing I do. I'll see you guys next time.